What's going on? Legion Rudy here playing more RuneScape Dragonwilds. Welcome to our Daily Gaming XP Grind episode 152. So we are just now collecting resources for cooking. We've actually been doing quite a bit behind the scenes. We've actually spent a little bit of time where we have all these different things built, and what we've been doing is basically collecting resources that we might not. We actually fought Velgar again, which actually went surprisingly well. We've upgraded our shield with a Visage, which sort of just sat in one of our chests, and we didn't even really know that you could upgrade it. So we've actually taken care of that. And we have actually been working on ranged magic. I don't really think we worked on attack at all, but we did work on other combat styles as well as actually lots of things. So we've just got a lot of work that we've been putting in trying to gear up for the new things that are going to be coming to the game. And obviously, we thought a little bit about it. What if they decided to wipe out extra XP, which is actually not the plan, and the developers have actually stated, and when you Google it as well, but they've also stated it, when you Google it, it basically says there are no plans to reset progress at all in the game. So in the case, or the by chance, if they actually decided to do this, basically it wouldn't be the end of the world. I mean, obviously, I would lose all the XP, but I would know, and everyone else who's sort of been following me would also know I was pretty much there. So it only changes the fact that I would have to go back and basically do all the work again, but not necessarily to get to like a max status. I would basically have to just do it all again to get new improvements and new armor and things like that, or the ability to build those things. So obviously, it would suck like super badly, but at the same time it wouldn't change like so much to the point where I wouldn't play. Obviously, I really like the game. If they did that to us, it would be horrible. I'm not the only one who would suffer. I think there's a lot of people who have a lot of time put into the game past what you can just do normally. So I think it would be a huge slap in all of our faces to anybody who decided to play the game past what's out currently. And I think ultimately you want people to play your game. They help you find bugs, they help you find fixes, sort of things like that. So it would just not be the right decision to basically wipe out our progress, XP wise. And honestly, everything saves to the game. So I'm not sure how that might even look. But anyway, getting away from that topic, we've been doing quite a bit behind the scenes, as I previously stated, and so much. So we've got lots of cooking resources at our base. So let's go ahead and go there now so we can actually get a little bit of XP put inside the cooking. We've been doing some more organization for our base. For those of you who might miss our previous episodes, we actually put all of our new cooking things inside all these chests, which actually required us to go to the Bloodblight Swamp and gather more logs. And we did some restructuring over here, which now all of our clean water is on the right side. And these chests eventually we'll get rid of. These are all empty now, for the most part. There's just a couple things left. And so we also changed our armor and our cape that we're wearing. And primarily because now we're using ranged and magic and things like that. So we wanted to keep that pretty much, obviously to make sense. So let's go ahead and take a wild pie, and then let's go ahead and pull everything out of our inventory that we're going to be using while we're cooking. We'll put the rest over here, and then we're going to go ahead and start getting some XP. I think there's going to be quite a bit of XP to actually be gained as well. But let's go ahead and take a look at what we've got. So we've got a ridiculous amount of different things. Let's go ahead and start cooking all those. So we've got our cooking active, and we've got our wild pie active, and we've got a ridiculous amount of onions because we've been spending a lot of time in the fractured plains working on that. So obviously we're doing our best to basically get this cooking XP before Valhalla comes to the game, and I think we're about a month and maybe like 11 days away. Not sure how many days are in the month right now, this month. So overall, December 15th is where we can expect this amazing, gigantic update where the undead comes to life, and we're going to have to fight these treacherous zombies and ghosts and things like that. So let's go ahead and pull a little bit of clean water out and go ahead and make some of the drinks that we're going to need to make. I estimate that we're going to get quite a bit of cooking XP. It's just basically rinse and repeat all the time. That's why I do notice it's just going to take consistency and keep it working at this to get the XP that we're desiring to get, which is 1,000,000 XP. But we should be getting quite a bit of XP this episode, And then we're going to keep working behind the scenes because I think if we're going to get to 1 million cooking XP, we're going to have to really grind it down. And then I was sort of thinking about combat XP. What is it that we can do to actually get higher XP rates or potentially reach bigger goals for our combat styles? And I think cooking's pretty much going to take this whole time between now and Fair Hollow. But I thought about potentially mixing it up a little bit and potentially, I said potentially a lot just now, but basically killing Velgar a bunch of times. Now, the fight isn't too difficult. Just use a couple of HP potions and go into there with a shield, a ward stone, and basically an anti-poison potion, and you should, for the most part, be okay. But what is the XP rate when you kill Velgar? That might be why it's worth it to kill him over and over again, but I've got to really look at that and see if that actually makes sense. Because if I do that, it potentially could just give me, mass amounts of XP, potentially in range. I really don't like fighting him with melee. It seems like a lot more to actually do it that way. The shield doesn't block all the damage from what I'm, basically have seen. So let's see which one of these is actually going to hold those. So that one's completely full. So we're going to have to go this way now. And then let's jump in here and see if we can find where I've been putting these. I think it's actually this one. There we go. So now those are all put away and we can gather everything that we've just cooked and sort of get an idea of basically what recipes we're going to be doing in the rest of this episode. But let's go look what we can actually do right now to actually get us a bunch of cooking XP. And it's not really close to nighttime, so we can't just accelerate and finish this, but this is going to help us for so many reasons. Basically, when the new content comes to the game, we're going to be heavily focused on enjoying that content rather than having to run around and level up all these different things. So if you're behind on that, I think it's going to be really substantial. Basically spending all this extra time getting yourself where you want to be. I think that actually would be pretty time lengthy to do it that way. So if you guys have a little bit of free time and you feel like playing some RuneScape Dragonwilds, I don't think it would be the worst thing in the world. So that's going to take a minute to actually finish up. So I think what we're going to do is we're actually going to put all this stuff in here. And then we're going to go over here and we're going to put this clean water there. And you can see how long it's going to take to actually use all that clean water to make drinks and things. And interestingly enough, we actually have a lot more clean water over there where our runes are, our extra runes. So it's not like we're even close to being done using those, but all of it helps to try to achieve our goal. And the reason we are now teleporting around instead of staying at our base is we're trying to get nighttime to come, so that way we can just go to sleep and then do it all at once. I think that makes the most sense. So we're just going to run around right now and sort of, I guess, kill different things and just do a lot of different stuff. So we just missed twice with our bow, which is terrible. Let's see. I don't know. So much more work. But, the accomplishment level, once I actually reach 1 million cooking, I never even thought that was going to be possible until they made the change. And I'd still even say with how much XP I had before the update, it was still incredible. It was such an accomplishment. So, but obviously being able to reach 1 million is quite a big deal to me, as I don't know why, but 1 million is definitely a milestone. I think 500,000 is a milestone, but there's just something about the ring of 1 million, right? Even when you say it, it's different than basically being like, I've got 200,000. And any amount really past the current level is still something to basically be happy about and be excited about. So wherever you're currently at in the game, don't look at it like you're behind. Don't look at it like, oh, I'm so far behind in the progress. Obviously you've got to imagine I put easily over 500 hours probably into this game. So it's not even a race really. It's just each player has sort of their own desired level that they want to be at. And I guess it's interesting too, because something that I learned from playing the old RuneScape was that sometimes you do sort of just run around in the game and you're doing pointless things that don't even necessarily help your progression. And I think that was sort of the loop that I got stuck in a lot in the old RuneScape. You sort of, you're so immersed in a world that you're okay just sort of running around killing chickens and just doing the most ridiculous thing. And the game was enjoyable doing those things. But then I guess as you hit a certain point in the game, you realize like, hey, I want all these really expensive things. how am I going to get them? And so that doesn't really pertain to this game. I mean, I guess XP wise, right? Not really how are you going to get all these different crazy things. So, but regards to just the old RuneScape, you could say that basically you have to get serious. Like, you've basically got to find a way to take yourself to the next level and use your time very sparingly, because obviously it's a huge grind in the old RuneScape to get what you want. You can't sort of just, I guess the word would be lollygag, right? You can't do that. You've got to structure your gameplay to get the most out of what you're trying to accomplish in the old RuneScape. Now, in regards to this one, you can still sort of walk around and just sort of chill and do things differently. It's not going to have the same effect. I mean, I believe in the old RuneScape, it could take, I know there's been a lot of updates, but prior to the updates, where things are easier now, I would say it could take you 3 months to get a 99. And if you know what you're doing, and obviously things were very costly, so it was, if you're not doing the right potion that's going to make you a little bit of money back, then you're going to lose a substantial amount of money. But not only that, you're basically going to sink a ridiculous more amount of time into whatever you're doing, which could be just incredibly costly. I know certain potions, when you were trying to work on Herblore, if you were making the wrong potion and you couldn't sell anything back, you might have been getting a little bit more XP, but you were leveling faster. But now you're broke. So if you're not using or doing the right thing, it would be costly. That's the one thing about the old RuneScape. It was going to take time. And so you either wanted to completely empty your bank account and get a little bit faster levels, but not get as far, or you could make something that would give you a little bit of money back, but it's going to take twice as long to get the levels, but you actually can continuously, steadily get XP, but still get some of your money back. So there were loads of ways to do things. You could get all the resources yourself, which would probably make a 99 skill take an incredibly longer time to get. So lots of opportunity, lots of variety, but it's just how you wanted to play the game, which was really the big thing. And but that's so cool when you really think about it. All the different avenues that you can go to basically create your own adventure. And this game, even though it's not quite the same, right? We're not sort of having to gear up the same way. I don't know that we can say that. I know that Fellhollow's coming out, and I think things are going to start to get really interesting because they've got to make it more difficult and complicated. So in order to do that, you've got to make it more challenging. You've got to make it so that way armor and things like that are going to get harder to get. So if you guys have got extra time, I definitely recommend running into large groups of monsters just to sort of prepare yourself for what's to come and the difficulty level of things that are basically going to be coming our way. So challenge yourself, go out there and do things that you might not ordinarily do, because you're only going to be helping yourself prepare the way that you play the game. I think it's going to be just a ridiculous help to you to prepare for all the new things that we're going to be experiencing. I don't think by any means that they're going to continue to have this sort of ease. I think things are going to get progressively harder. So it makes sense to now prepare yourself for that rather than doing it all at once and it becomes something that's completely unmanageable. So, I mean, I guess especially for someone who doesn't play the game all that much, that probably would be the player who would struggle the most with that. So we're almost done here. We're basically going to go to sleep here in a second once it'll let us, and then we're going to pick up everything that hasn't quite finished cooking yet, and then we're going to make everything and then do an XP update and send you guys on your way. But loads has been done. Loads will be continuing to be done. Now we can go to sleep. So let's go ahead and pick up everything. But remember, you're going to want to hit your wild pie and your cooking potion. That's got to be the biggest thing. When I first started playing this game, a lot of the XP that I actually have, I never used potions. I just didn't. I don't know why. Obviously, it probably would have greatly helped me over the course of time, but it wasn't really something that I did. So let's go now and make what else we can, and then we're going to do an XP update and send you guys on your way. But we're almost done here. Not in the way of getting a million XP by any means, but look at all that XP. It's wonderful. So there we are. I think the rat roast can actually be used with not like berries or red berries. But we're not really concerned too much with that because I think ultimately we can always go back and worry about that. But let's go ahead and do an XP update. So we've got 338,000 attack XP, ranged XP 82,000. So that's definitely an improvement. Woodcutting 1,004,000, construction 2,015,000, rune crafting 1,001,000. What an accomplishment. Magic 132,000, mining 4,259,000, artisan 4,134,000, and cooking 628,048 XP. So I think primarily we mostly got most of that, I think, in this episode, if I'm not mistaken. So that's like close to 28,000. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think it was from this one, but I'm not 100% sure. But 28,000 XP extra. So ultimately, we're getting so close. We're getting so close to 1,000,000 cooking, and I know that we're not there yet, right? And I'm saying so close, but it's actually so much more work that's going to be needing to be done. But anyway, guys, obviously, as always, there's going to be another video coming out tomorrow. We appreciate you guys watching our content, and I hope you guys are enjoying your adventures in RuneScape Dragonwilds, because obviously that's what it's all about, right? Fun. So hopefully you guys are having fun, and that's pretty much it. Until next time, Legion Luda out.